Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of May. I hope you're well. Using the Llewellyn Tarot for you today. I know that these are late. I really appreciate you waiting for me. Thank you. What do I have to tell you? Well, if the reading resonates and you would like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. The link for that will be down in the description box. Obviously, if you support me on Patreon, then you get access to all the extended content for no extra cost. And there's at least one scammer operating in the comments at the moment, so please do be on alert for that. I will never ask you to text a number for personal readings. That's just not how I work, right? I book through the Acuity scheduler, and at the moment I'm only doing readings for patrons, so it's not me. There'll be a lozenge around my name, you know, and if you click on the name of the channel, like, it will take you to the channel and see where all the content is. If you're in any doubt, please do that, because certainly the one that I've seen that I've had brought to my attention has got no content whatsoever and appeared to join in August 2021, which is obviously not me. So yes, there's something else I was going to say about that and I've forgotten. Oh, yeah. To be honest, if there's an abundance of emojis in there, the likelihood it's not me either, so just be on alert for that. So, Aquarius, let's have a look and see what's going on with you. Can I have 3 cards for Aquarius, please? There's the first one. We've got the Hierophant turning up sideways. Card of Taurus. Now, obviously the cards have different meanings, whether they're reversed or they're the right way up. But I pay attention to sideways cards too, because it feels like a kind of haven't quite committed one way or the other, hasn't quite happened yet, or, you know, we haven't decided. Current energy, please. There we go. We have the Emperor in your current energy, Aries, right there, and the Knight of Wands in what's kind towards you for May. So we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. This particular page in this particular deck always makes me feel like we've had news that we didn't really want, you know. Yes, we now know the truth of the matter, but, you know, his face is rather grave, I always think, and it's just like, yes, it's probably better that I know this information. Did I really want it? No. Did I want this to be the truth? No, not really. And so it's a case of learning to adapt on the basis of what it is that you now know. You know, and this could be information that has come to you via another person, or it could be an insight that you've had into yourself. Let's get some clarifiers. Can I have clarifiers for Hierophant, please? Whoa. Judgment card and the 8 of Cups. Judgment card was very strong, the way it came out there. Tell me about the Emperor, please. We have the Knight of Swords now, and we have the Justice card also appearing in the reverse. Tell me about the Knight of Wands. Got 10 of Cups. And come here, the Hierophant in reverse again. Well, no, actually committing to the reverse. So we have the 6 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and I think this is probably quite pertinent because as I read this, I think Mercury is about to start heading into retrograde properly. It's been in shadow period up until now. And when Mercury retrograde hits, I mean, obviously there are the usual rules apply. You know, we'd be careful around contracts and such things. It's a time to tread carefully when it's involving committing to something new, right? The energy of retrogrades is very much about kind of going backwards and just making sure that you've dotted all your I's and crossed all of your T's. In addition to that, we also have a really quite powerful full moon, lunar eclipse as well, actually, happening in Scorpio next week, and I feel like the energy of that is so strong at the moment. It's affecting every single one of the signs, and I can see it rippling through here too. But the reason that I mention this is because the 6 of Cups is very much to do with the past. Now, it doesn't tend to be your recent past. We're not talking about things that have happened in the last couple of years, weeks. We're talking about potentially the things that have happened in the last couple of years, the last 10 years, or even the last 20, 30 years, right? Because this can go back as far as childhood. It can also indicate, you know, past lives and things like that. But I'm interested in what seems to be here some reflection on childhood or possibly previous potential instability, right? We've got the Hierophant card here, and the Hierophant is very much concerned with things of an institutional nature of sorts, right? So that can be absolutely schools and work, you know, workplaces and you know, businesses, that kind of thing. But it can also talk about social institutions. So we could be talking about the institution of marriage or something like that, right? But like a couple of other signs, I cannot quite bring to mind who they are off the top of my head, this does not feel like it's reflecting on a situation that has happened right in front of you. This feels like your present energy is reflecting back on something that has happened a longer time ago than this, right? Because this energy of the full moon eclipse, particularly with it being in Scorpio, and the Mercury retrograde and everything, it's bringing things up to the surface that it is asking you to pay attention to. Now, this Hierophant is actually feeling like your history here. And there's something about your history that is wavering. Where it was in the upright, you know, this is very strong, very stable. We understand where we have come from, you know, and potentially where we're going. This way around talks to instability, and obviously we're going to get to that later on. But here it feels like your foundations have shaken a little bit, and it does feel like it's off the back of things that are now coming to mind, like I said, whether it's by way of information that people have brought to you or just you suddenly getting some insight into something. Because what we have here is the Judgment card and the Eight of Cups. Something about your history has come to the surface, and it feels to me like it's really quite... It kind of feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel painful exactly, but it feels uncomfortable. Almost like you're not quite sure where to put this in your head. And the fact that it hasn't been fully processed yet. That's the thing here, really. It hasn't been fully processed, because if it had, well, this might be that way up, I think. It's like it's come up. And you're like, oh. Because everything else now has to be reinterpreted in the light of what is starting to shake, you know. The Judgment card does talk about, you know, this resurrection energy right here. And sometimes, and certainly in your case, it's so that we can, you know, pass some sort of judgment over this. You know, we can make decisions in light of this. And your decision seems to have been to have walked away from something. Now, because it's the Eight of Cups rather than, say, the Eight of Swords, I think that it's an emotional baggage that you've been carrying around with you, that you have decided to put down, right? It feels like it's come to the surface and you didn't even know it was there, but now it's there. You're like, well, fuck, I don't need this. Like, what is this about, right? I'm moving away from it. Now, when we come into your current energy, the emphasis seems to be shifting into you taking control of a particular situation, right? We've got the Knight of Swords underneath here. That's Gemini energy. And we've got Justice, which is Libra, but obviously Justice is in the reverse here. So if this way around things are just and fair and right, this is absolute inescapable knowledge that what has occurred, what is transpiring, is deeply unfair, you know? But the fact that they've come out to clarify the Emperor means that you're getting a handle on this. You're not letting it destroy everything. I'm going to pull some more cards for this, because I'm quite intrigued as to why the Knight of Swords is here. I feel like for some of you there's a real urge to go back to someone and have it out with them. You know, I've got this information and now I'm going to you and I want to know. I want answers. I've got the Knight of Swords. Thank you. You've got the Five of Swords. You know, there's something almost... Strength card. You feel conflicted to me. Aquarius. Like, part of you wants to go back and address this injustice, whatever it is, and the other part of you doesn't want to do anything at all. It's like, not exactly let sleeping dogs lie, but you realise the futility of trying to go back and doing this, because we've got the Five of Swords, which makes me feel like it doesn't matter how good your information is, and it doesn't matter how much part of you is spoiling for a fight here. You know, that you've grown past this situation anyway, and so as it affects your here and now, the ramifications are actually relatively minor, apart from what is going on in your head. But there's also a sense here that the person involved, the people involved, are going to say whatever they need to say to come out on top in the first place. There's no arguing with someone who's committed to misunderstanding you, right? It's a complete waste of effort. Tell me about this Justice in reverse, please. Right. We have the Knight of Swords again. We have the Two of Cups, and we have the the King of Swords appearing in the reverse here. Now, the Moon card is at the bottom of the deck, and I think that this is important. Yeah, the Moon card followed by the Hermit, followed by Death. Right. This is an internal journey for you. This does not involve you going back and speaking to somebody else, although I can see why you would want to. The feeling of just injustice that is kind of rippling through this is something that feels to me like it would necessarily make you feel like you need to rectify it in some way or another. But there is a relationship here of sorts. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a business partnership. It could be something like that. But there's something about it that makes you feel a little less you. And I don't feel like this is a... It's rippling forwards to affect the relationships that you have right here. And whether that's because it is affecting the amount of trust that you have, that's possible. The point is, the Emperor being at the top, right? The Emperor is Aries. It's very initiatory energy, right? It's in charge, it's being in control, it's all that sort of stuff, right? But the Emperor always feels to me to be extremely static. Right? He's not the one doing the movement. He could. I mean, he's got his armour on. Yes, he's got his robe over the top of it, but he's got his armour on. He's got his shield literally right next to him there. Like, he could go to battle if he wanted to. But he's kind of slumped in the chair, and it looks to me like he's kind of just staring ahead, and he's replaying something in his mind, right? He's staring at something that has already occurred. And he is mulling over an injustice, something that has been wrong. And the natural urge here is to fix that, is to rectify it in some way. But there's some sort of resistance, because you know that this is not, it might not even be possible. It might be that the information that you have got, by whatever means you have got it, now involves somebody who is no longer present on this plane. Like, you can't go back and do that because they're not there. But I feel like actually, that it's you internally. It's asking you to look at something that is actually quite uncomfortable for you. I always think that Moon is absolutely extraordinary for that, right? Looking in the mirror and not being terribly comfortable with what you see, but, trudging on regardless. I mean, for some of you, it might be coming, what's coming to the surface is where you mistreated someone else, where the abuse of power, where the injustice was actually delivered by your hand, possibly. And there might be an urge to go back and try and fix what you have done before. Like, take it as it resonates to you. But the healing doesn't come from that. The healing comes from you accepting what has occurred, accepting your part in it or somebody else's part in it, and choosing to transform that feeling. But you feel like you're in that stage before you come to the conclusion that this is what you need to do. Because the King of Swords is about clarity of thought. It's about good judgment. And this old situation that you've left behind, that you are now mentally revisiting, and it seems to be bringing all sorts of fire up in you. You're just like, I'm going to fix that, but I know that I can't, for whatever reason that I can't. It's leaving you feeling like, as much as you would like to be in control of this situation, the subconscious is kind of doing the heavy lifting at the moment, and your conscious brain is kind of like, about it. The thing to be aware of is that it is affecting your relationships moving forwards. Right? So it is quite important for you to sort of take stock of this now and make sure that you are moving in the right way, right? Going forwards rather than backwards, and certainly not treating the relationships that are here now in light of what you have discovered about back there then, right? So when we move into your current energy, we have the Knight of Wands. That's Sagittarius energy, and it's very, very present. It's a little slower than the Knight of Swords, but not by much. But it tends to be much more opportunistic, right? Where the Knight of Swords, which is Gemini energy, is often like going far too fast to pay attention to what's going on around them, right? It's very narrow focus, going that way, and we don't stop until we hit the goal. The Knight of Wands is kind of cantering around a little bit more and is capable of intense speed, great speed, but he's looking for the joy. He's looking for the fun. He's looking for opportunities, right? So his eyes are very sharp and he's looking around him all of the time, and he can spin on a sixpence. He can change direction very, very swiftly, whereas the Knight of Swords feels like he would have to, he'd need a half-mile turning circle because of the speed that he goes at. And we've got the Ten of Cups, and we've got the Hierophant reversed. Now, this is really interesting in the way that it ties together, because the thing that the Knight of Wands does very, very well is be present. Like, he is the card of being entirely present in your surroundings. And for us to have the Ten of Cups coming straight off the back of that, it's like this month, Aquarius, you need to really pay attention to what it is that you have, that you love, that you are grateful for, and a little less on the instability, right? There's a deeper kind of theme here of a narrative being rewritten, and it's essential that it is rewritten for whatever reason. Right, we've got the Star, there you are. We've got the Knight of Cups now, and we've got the High Priestess there. Now, there's a big lesson here in accepting what has changed, right? And it could be, and it is actually, I mean, realistically, it is that nothing has changed in front of you. Those relationships that you are invested in are still exactly as they were, and they should not be tainted by what has gone before. Here we have the the Six of Cups. More there is insight, right, that is helping you as a person kind of develop and grow and move on. We've got the Star underneath here. It is the card of Aquarius. It does talk about the future, and it talks about a return of hope and whatnot, but it also talks about intense healing. And with this Knight of Cups right next to it, we've got a healing of the heart going on, right? Yes, you have discovered something uncomfortable, and yes, you would rather have, not rather have not known it, because I don't think that you would rather have not known it, but you would rather it were not the case. Let's put it like that. That's probably the better way to answer it. But there's the possibility of getting a little bit hard with that information, right? Throwing up walls, possibly, against people in front of you, because at some point in the past your judgment wasn't quite what it is now, and you misread a situation or you misunderstood a situation. Now you see it clearly for what it is, and you have to roll with that. The Justice card is nothing if not the consequences of our actions, right? Interestingly, it's upside down. So in addition to what I've already said about the Justice card, there don't need to be any forward moving consequences from your previous action other than those that are internal, right? It does not affect your outside world at all. I think that's what I'm getting at. And this High Priestess, this card of meditation and serenity and wisdom, it seems to you, for you, in the month of May, that whatever has come to the surface, and this is a theme that is permeating all of the readings this month, it's for you to make peace with. You know, the High Priestess is the keeper of wisdom. She knows everything, but she's also tremendously passive, right? Yeah, I know the thing. I don't need to do anything about the thing. I know the thing, you know. It's about an increase in wisdom rather than need to go back and, you know, and rectify some big wrong, whether it was, you know, done by you or done by somebody else. It's like, that has gone. Now it's time for you to make peace with it. And in doing so, you're kind of building yourself up. You're increasing your own personal wisdom, your own personal insight into yourself. You know, accept that what was is now what is not, you know, and pay attention to what is directly in front of you this month, right? I often say, you know, Aquarius are that sign whose gaze is always at the horizon, right? You're always looking at the next thing. Where do we go? Where do we expand? Where do we push on, you know? And Aquarius is associated with, you know, technology and developments, but there's also that humanitarian aspect to it too. So there's an understanding of people and people's needs, and part of that has to, you know, be reflected back at you. Like I said, there is a possibility that this information or this situation could make you hard, and we don't want that for you. It's not necessary, particularly not since you seem to be blessed with something really quite beautiful around you at this time. So take the information for what it is, make your peace with it, and then keep doing what you're doing, really, is the message here. The Hierophant being in reverse doesn't need to fuck everything else, you know? It's just more information. Just let it come through. Let it do what it's supposed to do. Let it bring up what it's supposed to bring up, and then let it go, right? Which is really interesting. So now I feel like you kind of lapsed into silence a few times, because I feel like that's kind of what you're doing. It's almost like, it's kind of in your own head, thinking about things. This is not a month to be in your own head. It's a month to be doing things with people that you love, and let it just wash over you, wash through you. Don't try and hold on to any of it, and certainly don't try and, you know, wreak any kind of justice of your own, because it's not necessary for this lesson. Okay, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. We're going to pull this apart a little bit more so we can get a few more details. So if you would like to join me over there, like I said, the link is in the description box. You can come and join my Patreon community. They're all absolutely outstanding human beings, and I am blessed beyond measure to know them. So, you know, highly recommend that. But if not, you know, don't worry. I think that's just don't worry too much. Everything in your environment is good. What went before is not what is now. And it, you know, it'll all come out in the wash if you let it. All right, know that I love you all very, very much. I'll see you soon.